Welcome, gents. The truth will set you free, but first it will test everything you think you know. Most men say they want the truth, but very few can handle it. The Sigma male is one of the rare ones who actually can. He doesn't flinch when reality gets uncomfortable. He doesn't hide behind excuses or sugar-coated lies. He sees things for what they are, not for what he wishes them to be. That's what separates him from the crowd, his ability to face reality without needing it to be pleasant. While most people chase comfort, he chases clarity. He knows that growth doesn't come from being told what you want to hear. It comes from hearing what you need to hear. The truth might sting, but to him, that sting is proof that he's still evolving. That's why he refuses to live in denial, even when the truth exposes pain, betrayal, or loneliness. If you see yourself in this, understand this. You're not cold or detached. You're awake. You've simply stopped expecting the world to be fair and started mastering how to move through it. That kind of awareness is rare, and it takes real courage to carry it. So stay with this video until the end, because we're about to break down the kind of truth that most men avoid, but only Sigma males can handle. The kind that doesn't comfort you, it sharpens you. Let's get started, gents. Number 1, he accepts that no one is coming to save him. That simple truth separates the Sigma male from almost every other man. While most people keep waiting for luck, sympathy, or timing to change their lives, the Sigma male knows that waiting is just another way of staying stuck. He understands that no one is obligated to rescue him, no matter how much he deserves help. Life owes him nothing, and that realization doesn't make him cold. It makes him powerful. When you stop expecting the world to play fair, you stop wasting energy on complaining. The Sigma male stopped begging life to be kind. He stopped asking people to understand him or situations to go his way. Instead, he learned how to move regardless of the circumstances. That kind of acceptance is not weakness. It is liberation. It means his emotions no longer control his direction. Most men crumble when reality doesn't match their expectations. They get angry, feel betrayed, or give up. The Sigma doesn't. He sees disappointment as a sign to adapt, not to quit. He knows that no one is coming to fix what he refuses to face, so he faces it head on, not with noise or drama, but with quiet determination. This mindset makes him unshakable. He can walk through loss, rejection, and betrayal without breaking down, because he already accepted that no one will carry him through it. He became his own savior. He became his own source of peace. And that is what makes him unstoppable. While others wait for the world to change, he changes himself. While others cry for a rescue, he builds his own ladder. He may walk alone, but he walks free. That's the truth most men can't handle, but for the Sigma male, it's exactly what sets him apart. Number 2, he understands that love without respect is slavery. That's a truth most people never want to face. Many will trade their freedom just to feel wanted. They will accept control, manipulation, and disrespect, all in the name of staying loved. But the Sigma male sees through that illusion. He knows that affection means nothing if it demands the death of his individuality. To him, love is not about possession or dependence. It is about choice. Real love should never feel like a leash around your neck. It should not require you to shrink who you are to keep someone comfortable. That is not love. That is control, dressed in sweet words. The Sigma male knows this, which is why he would rather be alone than adored by someone who secretly wants to cage him. He doesn't confuse attachment with connection. When someone tries to control him through guilt, silence, or emotional games, he sees it for what it is, a test of his self-respect, and every time he chooses freedom over approval. He walks away not because he is heartless, but because he knows what it costs to stay. His version of love is rare because it is grounded in mutual respect. He gives space because he values his own. He does not chase, beg, or force anyone to stay. His calmness in love is not indifference, it is strength. It means he loves without losing himself. The Sigma male understands something most men never grasp. If someone has to own you to love you, they never loved you in the first place. That's why his freedom is sacred. It is not loneliness, it is clarity. And that clarity allows him to experience the purest kind of love, the one that grows only when both hearts are free. Number 3, he knows people don't actually want the truth. They say they do. But what they really want is comfort dressed up as wisdom. They want words that sound deep, but never challenge them to think differently. They want advice that soothes their ego, not truth that exposes their weakness. The Sigma male learned this the hard way. He used to speak openly, thinking people valued honesty. But he soon realized that truth makes most people defensive, not grateful. So now, he stays silent. Not because he has nothing to say, but because he knows when to say nothing. He watches people chase illusions, success without discipline, love without boundaries, peace without self-awareness. He lets them play their games while he quietly builds something real. The Sigma male understands that truth is not loud. It does not need to shout or convince. It simply exists, waiting for those strong enough to face it. And strength, he's noticed, is rare. Most people would rather live a beautiful lie than face an uncomfortable reality. They will call the truth negative, cold, or arrogant, simply because it does not flatter them. But that doesn't bother him. He knows his silence protects his energy. He doesn't argue with delusion. He doesn't waste time trying to open eyes that refuse to see. Instead, he focuses on walking in truth quietly, consistently, and without applause. What makes him different is that he does not fear reality. He embraces it, no matter how raw it feels. He knows that truth may isolate him, but it also strengthens him. While others drown in illusions, he stays grounded. That is the difference between living in fantasy and living in power. The Sigma male chooses truth, not because it is easy, but because it is the only place where he can truly be free. Number 4, he realizes that being right means nothing if he's surrounded by the wrong people. That truth hit him one day when he noticed that wisdom dies in the wrong crowd. You can speak the truth all you want, but if the people around you are committed to their own lies, your clarity will only sound like noise to them. The Sigma male learned that being understood is not the same as being valued. And that's when he started choosing solitude over social applause. He no longer feels the need to prove his intelligence in rooms where ignorance is loud. He no longer wastes energy explaining depth to people who live on the surface. Instead, he saves that energy for himself, for his growth, for his purpose. Because what is the point of being right if your truth is constantly being watered down to make others feel comfortable? The Sigma male understands that the wrong environment can turn brilliance into burnout. So he removes himself quietly. He would rather sit alone in silence than sit in a crowd where he has to lower his frequency just to belong. That choice doesn't make him arrogant. It makes him aware. He knows that solitude refines him while shallow company drains him. When he walks away from people who don't match his energy, it's not out of pride, but preservation. He values peace more than validation. He knows that applause from the wrong audience is just noise, not recognition. So he stays alone until he finds minds that speak his language and souls that move with his rhythm. He understands that true connection doesn't require pretending. That's why he no longer fears solitude. He respects it. Because every time he chooses silence over the wrong crowd, he becomes sharper, stronger, and more at peace with himself. Number 5, he knows discipline is not about control, but about liberation. Most people see discipline as restriction, as rules, routines, or sacrifice. But for the Sigma male, it is none of that. Discipline is his quiet form of freedom. It is what separates him from the chaos that traps others. Every boundary he sets, every choice he repeats, every temptation he walks past. It is not about denying himself pleasure. It is about protecting his power. He understands that the moment he loses discipline, he becomes a slave to his impulses, and nothing disgusts him more than being controlled by what he should be able to master. He knows that indulgence might feel good now, but it often comes with a hidden chain attached, the chain of dependency, distraction, and regret. So he chooses consistency over comfort, focus over impulse, purpose over momentary thrill. To him, discipline is not punishment. It is structure for his freedom. It gives him control over his time, his emotions, and his direction. While others are constantly reacting to life, he moves with intention. He is not trying to dominate others. He's mastering himself. And that is what truly sets him apart. He doesn't chase motivation or wait for the right mood to act. He moves regardless of how he feels because he knows emotions can lie, but habits don't. Discipline has become his quiet rebellion against weakness. It frees him from needing what weakens him, and that's why he walks lighter, thinks clearer, and stands taller. Number 6, not everyone can meet them where they are. The Sigma male learned this truth after years of trying to explain himself to people who were never capable of understanding him. He used to think that if he just spoke clearly enough, people would see the world the way he did. But they never did, because some people don't want depth. They want simplicity that keeps them comfortable. So he stopped explaining. He stopped trying to translate his silence, his standards, his stillness, or his distance. He realized that when your mind runs deep, you become a mirror that unsettles shallow souls. They don't see you. They see their own limitations reflecting back at them. And rather than face that, they call you cold, complicated, or arrogant. But the Sigma doesn't take it personally anymore. He understands that not everyone can swim in the same waters without drowning. He no longer lowers his depth just to make others feel safe. He no longer bends his truth to fit inside their understanding. If someone cannot meet him where he is, he simply lets them stay where they are. That is not pride, that is peace. The Sigma male has reached a point where silence has become his response to misunderstanding. He doesn't argue. He doesn't justify. He observes who makes an effort to understand him and who just wants to label him. And when he sees the difference, he knows exactly where to place them in his life. That's how he protects his energy, by keeping his depth sacred. Number 7, healing is not always gentle. The Sigma male knows this too well. He's faced the kind of healing that doesn't come wrapped in calm music or soft words. His healing came in silence, in nights that felt endless, in moments where he had to face himself with no one to blame and nowhere to hide. It burned before it soothed. It tore away every illusion he used to protect himself until all that was left was truth, raw and unfiltered. Most people like to talk about healing as if it's some peaceful journey filled with affirmations and quick progress. The Sigma male knows better. Real growth doesn't always look pretty. It can break you before it rebuilds you. It demands honesty that most people are not ready for. He had to admit where he went wrong, where he betrayed his own instincts, where he tolerated less than he deserved. That kind of reflection hurts, but it also frees. He doesn't glamorize the process. He doesn't post it, boast it, or make it a trend. He endures it quietly because real transformation happens away from attention. He's learned that pain is not his enemy. Denial is. Every scar he carries is proof that he didn't avoid the fire. He walked through it. Now his calmness is not laziness, it's maturity. His silence is not emptiness, it's understanding. He's healed, not because life became easier, but because he finally became someone strong enough to face it all without pretending. That's why his peace feels different. It was paid for in pain. Number 8. Not every bond deserves a second chance. The Sigma male learned this through experience, through giving people chances they didn't value and time they didn't respect. He used to believe that forgiveness meant allowing people back into his life, that being kind meant keeping the door open. But now he understands that forgiveness and re-entry are not the same thing. Some people are meant to be forgiven and left exactly where they stand. Forgiveness to him is personal. It's not a favor to the other person. It's freedom for himself. It's how he releases the anger and breaks the emotional tie that once drained him. But once that peace is earned, he doesn't risk it again for the sake of nostalgia or guilt. He knows that if a bond destroyed his peace once, it will likely do the same again. The Sigma male doesn't hate those who hurt him. He simply loses interest in them. That's his version of closure. No arguments, no explanations, no dramatic endings. Just quiet understanding that some lessons only make sense when you finally walk away. He knows that not every connection is meant to be repaired. Some are meant to teach him boundaries, some are meant to show him his strength, and some are meant to end so he can move forward lighter and wiser. So when he walks away, it's not revenge, it's self-respect. It's a statement that says, I learned the lesson, but I don't need to repeat the class. And in that silence, he finds peace that no reconciliation could ever give. Number 9. Desire can't be trusted blindly. The Sigma male learned that the hard way. He knows how powerful attraction can feel, how it can pull you in, cloud your logic, and make you mistake intensity for connection. But he also knows that not everything that feels right is good for you. He has seen what happens when people let their emotions drive them without questioning where those emotions come from. So now, he questions even his own desires. When something or someone draws him in, he doesn't rush toward it. He observes. He asks himself if it's genuine alignment or just momentary excitement. He has learned that chemistry without compatibility is chaos disguised as love. It can look like passion at first, but it ends up feeling like confusion. He doesn't mistake butterflies for peace anymore. He pays attention to what his energy does around someone. Does it expand or does it shrink? That tells him everything. The Sigma male understands that discipline in desire is real strength. It means not chasing every feeling that shows up. It means choosing stability over stimulation, clarity over craving. That's how he protects his focus and his peace. He has reached a point where emotional control is his quiet superpower. He can feel deeply without letting feelings blind him. He can be drawn to someone and still walk away if it threatens his inner balance. That is not detachment. It is wisdom. Because the Sigma male knows that desire can start a fire, but only truth can keep it burning without turning everything else to ashes. Number 10. Self-respect has no negotiation table. For the Sigma male, self-respect is not something he talks about. It is something he lives by. It is his line in the sand, and once it is crossed, there is no discussion, no apology, and no return. He can forgive, but he does not forget. Not because he is bitter, but because he has learned that losing respect for himself is the most expensive mistake a man can make. Most men bend their values to be accepted. They stay in jobs that drain their soul, relationships that strip away their dignity, or circles that reward conformity. But a Sigma male doesn't play that game. He knows that when you trade self-respect for comfort, you lose both in the end. So when someone tries to make him choose between his peace and their approval, the decision is already made. He walks away, quietly, completely, and with his head still high. He doesn't measure success by what he gains, but by what he refuses to compromise. His silence is not weakness, it is self-control. His distance is not pride, it is protection. When he leaves, it's not to prove a point, it's to protect his standards. Because he knows the moment a man negotiates his self-worth, the world starts to negotiate his place in it. What makes the Sigma different is that his respect for himself comes before money, before validation, before even love. He would rather rebuild his life from zero than live one day pretending he is okay with disrespect. That is not ego, that is alignment. And that is the truth most men cannot handle. They keep trying to earn approval, while the Sigma earns peace. They seek acceptance while he builds boundaries, because he understands one simple rule. If you lose self-respect, you have already lost the game. Number 11. People will envy what they don't understand. A Sigma male knows one simple truth. People envy what they cannot understand, and he has made peace with that. His quiet confidence, his ability to stand alone, his refusal to play by society's usual rules, all of it makes others uneasy. People stare at him, talk about him, and try to label him, yet none of those things ever touch him. Because deep down, he understands something most men never do. When you are different, you will always be misunderstood before you are respected. The Sigma male doesn't crave attention, but he draws it effortlessly. He doesn't seek validation, but he earns admiration and resentment from those who cannot figure him out. His calm independence exposes the insecurity of people who need crowds to feel relevant. His discipline silently mocks the chaos of those who can't control their own impulses. And that's why envy follows him everywhere he goes, but he does not fight it. He doesn't explain his choices or lower his standards to make others comfortable. He knows solitude is not a curse, it is his protection. He has learned that when you walk your own path, you will walk it alone for a while, and that's okay. Because solitude is where he sharpens his mind, builds his strength, and hears his own truth without interruption. While others waste time proving themselves, the Sigma moves in silence, knowing that real power doesn't announce itself, it is simply felt. He doesn't chase acceptance because he already accepts himself. And that is what threatens people the most, a man who needs nothing from them. So when the whispers come, when people project their fears and envy onto him, he just smiles and keeps walking. Because he knows envy is not his burden, it is proof that he is walking in a direction others can't follow. In final words, the truth doesn't destroy a Sigma male, it shapes him. At the end of everything, what truly defines a Sigma male is not how loud he speaks or how many people listen. It's how deeply he sees. He has learned that life will never hand him comfort for free, and that truth will never come wrapped in softness. But he also knows that facing the truth, no matter how cold or lonely it feels, is what separates him from the rest. He has walked through silence, through loss, through the moments when everyone else turned away, and still he stood tall. Because the Sigma male doesn't need the world to understand him. He only needs to understand himself. That's where his strength comes from. It's not in being perfect or fearless or untouchable. It's in knowing who he is when everything else falls apart. You are not strange for wanting solitude. You are not broken for craving truth more than comfort. You are simply awake in a world that prefers sleep. And that awareness comes with both pain and power. So don't shrink yourself to fit in. Don't silence your instincts just to be accepted. You were not built to follow. You were built to see. And seeing clearly is not for the weak. Stay until the end of this video, because what's coming next will remind you why your strength, your silence, and your solitude are not curses. They're your edge in a world that fears the truth you carry. Thank you for watching, gents, and God bless you.